Hello everybody. I know I said earlier in the week that I've been doing these for 20 years and I don't think I've ever done two in 1 week. But I had to come here today because I spoke about seasons, and what do we have in today? The first English new season asparagus. Look at that. Doesn't it look amazing? And you say, hang on a minute, asparagus? February still? It is still February? How on earth do they do that? Well, because I had so much feedback on Tuesday about how seasons work, I'm going to tell you. And the reason we can get this English asparagus so early is a really fascinating story, because you'll see that this asparagus is grown by the new Forest Fruit Company. Well, you say, hang on a minute, fruit? This is not a fruit, this is a vegetable. Well, this is what happened. The new Forest Fruit Company grow tons and tons, and I mean literally tons, of strawberries. That's the main fruit that they grow. And when they started growing strawberries years ago, I think it was 84 or somewhere, they used to grow it in peat, which is horribly bad for the environment, as you would appreciate. So the boss of New Forest Fruits, a guy called Sandy Booth, started to experiment with other growing mediums that were environmentally friendly. And what he ended up using was a product called Koya, which you may have heard of, but Koya is quite simply nothing other than coconut husk. Now, the coconut industry is enormous, because the coconuts you might see and buy are just what's left after they've trimmed off all of this massive outer husk, which is Koya. So Sandy started growing strawberries in Koya, but Koya, unlike peat obviously, is completely inert. There's no nutrients in it at all. So they plant the strawberries in the Koya, and then Sandy's brother-in-law, a guy called the Magician or the Wizard, or something like that. I think it's the Wizard. Anyway, he feeds, well, I think he's got a bit of computer-aided feeding, but all of these all of the strawberries, sorry, I'm still talking about strawberries, get fed liquid feed of the nitrogen, the potash, the phosphate, all the nutrients they need are fed like Miracle Grow from the Wizard into the strawberries. And that's fine, and that's great, and they grow amazing strawberries. Anyway, the Koya is only any good for growing strawberries for 2 years. So every 2 years, they rip out the strawberry plants. I think they plant millions. It's something like 50 million strawberry plants every year, and the Koya, they start again with fresh Koya. So what then happened is Sandy realizes he's got, I mean, I've seen the stuff. They've got mountains, I mean literally mountains of Koya. It's been used. It was reminiscent of one of the Welsh mining villages back in the day. All those mountains are like slag heaps of Koya. And Sandy, being, well, most growers and farmers are innovative, they have to be, but Sandy is one of the most innovative people I've ever met. He started thinking, well, what can I do with this Koya? So he thought, I'm sure he tried lots of other things, but he'd try and grow asparagus. So he made the Koya into metre square beds, so a metre across, a metre deep, and started growing asparagus. Now, asparagus takes 2 years before you can start harvesting it, but it grew. I'm sure the Wizard had something to do with this, or the Magician, whatever he's called. Anyway, they grew fantastic asparagus. And then to make it even earlier, because everybody wants early crops because that's when the price is best, they started growing it in plastic tunnels, because that gets the soil temperature or the Koya temperature up higher. And it's the soil temperature that's important for early crops, more so than the air temperature. So that's how it started. It's a wonderful story, because the Koya is getting used 3 times. It's getting used for the coconuts, getting used for the strawberries, and then it's getting used for the asparagus. Well done, Sandy. Amazing job. Here we are, 28th of February. We've got English asparagus.